Schallerberg Castle in Lower Austria dates back to the medieval times and has a dark past. Some visitors are said to have fled the castle in haste. Legend has it that the ghost of a young girl haunts the catacombs, her face covered with hair. The villagers call her the Dog Maiden. For 28 years, Johannes Myrtle has been the custodian of Schallerberg Castle. He claims to have seen the Dog Maiden many times. It all started one night when Myrtle was checking the castle cellar. He says this was his first encounter with the ghost.
It was late and an event had taken place that night. Everyone had gone home. I was patrolling the place to make sure everything was locked. Then I entered the crypt, where I was hit with a wall of fog.
As the fog began to clear, the custodian was able to make out a shape. In his eyes, it looked just like the ghost of the Dog Maiden.
There stood the Dog Maiden, around 5 feet 5 inches tall. Beautiful dark black hair. She had what resembled a dog's snout, but there was nothing mean about her.
It was the first time Johannes Myrtle ever saw a ghost.
I was panicking. All of a sudden, the fog closed in on me, and the Dog Maiden passed through me. Filling me with a powerful, positive energy that lasted maybe 3 seconds, and then she was gone.
He's not the only one who believes in ghosts. Similar sightings are reported frequently from all over the world. Studies show that 15% of the world's population believes in ghosts. Some say they appear as transparent spirits. Some claim they look just like us. Others talk of bizarre sounds, sudden drops in temperature, or an eerie energy. The souls of the dead usually haunt old castles or cemeteries. Some believe that if a person loses their life in a cruel way, they can't find their way to the afterlife and wander between the worlds instead. England, home to a striking number of ghost tales. Every other castle is allegedly haunted. On foggy days, reality seems to blur, and the souls of the dead are said to roam the alleyways of towns and villages. Around 500 years ago, London becomes the scene of a horrible act. Henry VIII, King of England, orders the beheading of his second wife, Ann Boleyn, for failing to provide him with an heir to the throne. Legend has it that every year on the day of her execution, Anne returns to Blickling Hall in a carriage drawn by headless horses. Until the break of day, her ghost wanders through the rooms of the mansion where she was born, holding her head in her hands. That's just one of many tales of ghosts. Is it all an illusion, or is there more to it?
Death may be the primary concern of most humans all over the world and throughout time. And to confront a ghost isn't just to confront this scary representation of death, but it's also to existentially confront the concept of death. And so seeing a ghost is kind of like the ultimate confirmation that there is an afterlife, that it doesn't just end.
But do ghosts really exist? Or do we just want to believe in life after death so badly that we think we see them? St. Francisville, Louisiana. Myrtle's plantation is known across the United States as the haunted place. Ghosts are even said to leave behind traces. Hester Eby has known the house for more than 40 years. She shows us an old mirror with a curious detail.
Well, the mirror frame itself dates from around the 1840s. Now, the glass has been changed a number of times, and each time a new glass is placed back into the original frame, the same prints will reappear. I think the prints continue to appear, and the faces, when people take photographs, show up in the mirror because that is where the spirits live, or that's where they want to be seen. So they do come out. It's their way of letting you know that, yes, I am here.
In the early 1800s, the Woodruffs live on Myrtle's plantation. Chloe, one of their slaves, wants to take revenge on the plantation owner for sexually harassing her. She makes a poison cake. But only his wife and 2 children end up eating it. They all die. Legend has it that the other slaves decided to hang Chloe for this.
We had a school group here, and we were about 13 children. I came out and was greeting this small group. There was a little girl, she was about maybe 8 or so, and she looked at me and she said, "Why are you dirty? Are you hungry? Why are your clothes torn?" And I could tell she was looking beyond me. So she was not talking to me. She was talking to someone else. And I looked at her mother, and her mother looked at me, and she winked, and we didn't say anything else. You know, we left it at that.
The Black Forest, southern Germany, the scene of many ghost tales. This deserted hotel in the town of Freudenstadt is said to hold dark secrets. Most locals steer clear of the place altogether. 100 years ago, high society from all across Europe came here. In World War II, the hotel was turned into a military hospital, which appears to have left behind a grim legacy. Legend has it that the owner of the hotel was killed in her room in 1949. Soon, rumors about ghosts started to spread. We used the empty hotel for a nighttime experiment. We want 2 teams to find out if the place really is haunted and see the impact the ghost stories have on our participants. Researchers believe that ghosts primarily exist in our heads. Psychologist Lydia Benneker will evaluate the participants' behavior from a scientific point of view. The hotel is in complete darkness. Our participants are only carrying a torch and a night vision camera.
So, jetzt blicke ich's.
Ah,
Yes.
now I get it.
Oh Gott.
My God.
Okay, also.
I actually don't want to go into this hallway.
Me neither.
Our psychologist Lydia Benneker notices how uneasy they feel.
What's perfect about this is that they set the general mood. Of course, they're afraid because they are thinking about the terrifying stories.
The team that doesn't believe in ghosts remains fairly unimpressed.
This is a perfect example of how our expectations and interpretations can impact our perception. They are imagining that something's out there. They view this as a warning not to continue.
Team 1 aborts the test. The second team also decides to finish their tour through the haunted house.
It did get quite scary at times, and we felt a strong current of air pass by, but we couldn't see an open window or anything.
Yes, I found it a bit frightening, I'll admit. Do I believe there could be ghosts here? I'm tempted to say yes.
The way we perceive the world is actually based on how our brain interprets sensory signals. Our perception is therefore never objective. It's always a subjective interpretation that builds off of our knowledge, our experience, and our worldviews.
If everything happens in our minds and we all live in our own worlds, does that mean that ghosts exist for some, but not for others? Bavaria, Germany in the 1980s. Events at a dental clinic make international headlines. There's a voice inside the walls of one of the treatment rooms. The dentist and his patients are baffled. Police investigators are trying to solve the riddle using malicious caller identification and radio receivers. Chopper, as the voice calls itself, keeps everyone in suspense for over a year. Until the staff noticed that the poltergeist only appears during the shifts of one particular assistant.
I won't contact you again.
The colleague is caught, and the Chopper case is closed.
Chopper, the supposed ghost voice at a dental clinic in Neutraubling, Bavaria, made headlines for quite some time, but now the real Chopper has been exposed.
So it turns out that this time the ghost was man-made. However, this isn't always the case. Freiburg, in the deep heart of southern Germany, Walter von Lucadou is a physicist and psychologist and head of the Center for Parapsychology. Since 1989, he's been investigating all sorts of ghost phenomena.
One case I'd like to cite involves a young man who heard a voice in his apartment, so he called me. I asked him where the voice was coming from, and he got very shy and said, "It's coming from my tea kettle." He thought nobody would believe him and think he was crazy.
The physicist has a suspicion. He asks his client to put the kettle on the stove, just as he always does.
I asked him if there were any strong medium-wave transmitters nearby, and it turned out he was picking up the radio signal with his kettle.
A boiling tea kettle, a stovetop, and a nearby radio station. Case solved. The alleged voices from the afterlife came from the radio. Curious. This time there is a logical physical explanation after all. But some mysteries remain unsolved. One famous example dates back to 1967. The Rosenheim case makes headlines worldwide and remains one of the most investigated, best documented paranormal phenomena to this day. Legal assistant Anna-Marie S. is suspected of staging the spooky events. Every time she enters a room, unusual things happen. The Freiburg Parapsychological Center pores over every detail from the case. The former head of the center is convinced that this case was neither fraud nor the product of a technological issue.
The Rosenheim case is unique because they conducted physical tests. These events have been confirmed by an objective source, adding credibility to the witness testimonies.
I was standing in front of this small table while Miss Anna-Marie was making copies. At the very moment, the flower painting turned very quickly counterclockwise by about 320 degrees, and the mounting wire got caught in the hook.
Is there an explanation for these unusual events? Anna-Marie is accused of fraud. Experts believe that in this case, mental state had an effect on the objects. According to the theory of psychokinesis, some people carry so much anger that it causes pictures to suddenly spin or objects to fly through the room.
The ghost is a psychosomatic reaction. It's called externalization, and it can mean that people transfer their inattention to their environment. And obviously, that's typically the place where they live or work. We call them focus persons or paranormal triggers.
Are we the ghosts? Can we move objects with our minds? Scientists still have a long way to go. The history of humanity is full of ghost-like phenomena. They can be found in every country and culture. But there's disagreement amongst the different cultures of the world when it comes to how the souls of the dead behave, or whether they are a blessing or a curse. This backyard in Berlin-Kreuzberg leads to the only Candomblé temple in Germany. It's a community center for people who believe in this Afro-Brazilian religion. The belief revolves around connecting and communicating with the Orishas, the spirits of Candomblé. The Baba Orisha is the highest spiritual leader of the community.
Candomblé is a good fit for Germany. Not least because Germans like the principle of give and take. We feel the same way. It's all like a trade. I give something, and in return I receive something. That's the balance. That's candomblé.
The Babel Orisha explains there's a special room in this house where, according to him, he sees his deceased relatives every now and then.
I sometimes see the dead. I don't mean that I talk to them. I mean that I see them, like an image passing by. When I see my mother, my grandma, my dad, or my siblings, any of them, I see an image. I know they're there, and I can feel it too.
Seeing ghosts and spirits as companions taking us to the afterlife might be a comforting thought to many. Believing in ghosts is a central and celebrated part of many cultures. In Mexico, the spirits of the deceased are commemorated in an extraordinary festival to this very day, the Dia de los Muertos. Mexicans believe their dead return once a year to visit their families, starting from the end of October and lasting until the beginning of November. What might seem frightening to outsiders is rather an exuberant celebration to Mexicans. They serve food to the deceased, like the sweetbread pan de muerto, skulls made of sugar, calaveras de dulce, or coffins made of marzipan. It's a big celebration accompanied by dances and music. Yellow and orange colors pave the way for the dead from the graveyards to their homes. The Mexicans say that these colors are easiest for their deceased relatives to see. Believing in spirits and religion, do the two share common origins? Ariana Gerhold, also known as Minky, is Berlin's most famous ghost hunter. She's heading to Grabowsee, 30 kilometers from Berlin, a former sanatorium for lung patients. People claim to have witnessed mysterious sightings time and again. In 1896, the first sanatorium for tuberculosis opens its doors in Berlin. The patients come here to recover from their disease, but many can't escape death. Minky seems to feel why the dead can't find peace.
Some of the entities stuck in a place like this don't know how to get out. Maybe death came more suddenly than they thought, and that's why I feel a certain sense of sadness here in my chest. Because they might have thought they'd leave this place healthy.
After World War II, the former sanatorium was used as a Russian hospital. For decades, this place was witness to many deaths. Minky and Savash are preparing their first contact with the afterlife. Minky will use a ghost radio first.
One thing that's really important is that you introduce yourself. You have to invite them, allow them to draw energy from us or from the devices. They have to know that they can trust us, because some of the deceased don't know they are dead. And they are surprised. They rather see us as the intruders. Please give me a yes to let me know it's okay we are here with you. Please take all the energy you need. You can take it from our equipment or from me.
It's not just that Minky only feels the souls of the dead. She also says they appear out of the blue. Minky claims to have met the ghost of a boy in this very place not long ago.
I saw a young boy. He was standing over there, next to the pillar. I mean, I could really see him. I could see his clothes, sort of a grey vest made of thick cotton, not fine knitwear. He was wearing shorts and long socks, and he was standing there, completely lost. He didn't understand what was going on.
The first attempt is unsuccessful. No voices from the afterlife. The only frequencies the radio picks up come from a Russian station. Up until now, everything's been quiet. But suddenly, Minky senses something. She uses an infrared camera and a magnetic field detector. If energy in the room changes, the device picks it up. The Ghostbuster really believes this to be a sign from the afterlife.
Right now, we are hoping someone will sit down on this chair. Whoever is here, please trust us. Come here. It crashed? That means something is about to happen. When something like that happens, I know something is coming. Because the tablet is fully charged, there's no reason why it should shut down like that. To be honest, I have to say, it's turning off again. That's not normal. Come on, the thing is on. It's also new. Is there anyone here at the table? Does anyone want to communicate with us via the K2? Walk over to the green light?
And then something happens that nobody expected. The measuring device starts to flash.
Look! Lights! And now it's also safe to say that someone messed with my camera. Nothing happened this whole time, but now it's starting. It's even turning red.
That's really rare, yes.
It's stopping now. The fact that it turned red means it's an energetic person who has actually found peace here and doesn't want to be disturbed. So you actually don't want me to sit on this chair? I got that now. Look, now it's communicating. Do you want us to leave? Go and find your peace. Thanks for playing along for a while.
Contact with the afterlife or a placebo effect? We can provide explanations for almost every ghost sighting and eerie event. Paranormal phenomena are almost always a product of the mind. But we still don't know what happens to us when we die. Is there a life after death? Are there ghosts or angels? For now, it all comes down to what we believe.